darkness giving way to light. And there, in the heart of the sunrise, a rooster crowing cup of joe with po. It's not just coffee, it's a ritual. A moment to savor. A gentle nudge to seize the day. With every sip, feel the warmth of the sun and the promise of a fresh start. Because a great day begins with a great cup. Wake up with po, and let the sunrise work its magic.
Good morning and welcome to Cup of Joe with Po. I was looking at this pigeon over here, creeping up on my breakfast. It's in the bag, but believe it, the pigeon will rip that out of the bag and get to eating, and we're not gonna have that. We're gonna eat our breakfast. So, welcome to Cup of Joe with Po, or Can of Monster this morning with Po. Today we're gonna discuss self-destruction. Wow, I see it play out on TV all the time and in person, and I've actually self-destructed before myself. Now, some will put this along the lines of the not giving a fuck, or it's about principle, it's about the morals. Well, it's not really about the money, it's about the principle. No, it's not. Don't get yourself wrapped up in some sort of, I have to do this because if I don't, then others will see this and they'll think they can just walk all over me. Are you like some sort of drug dealer, like some major kingpin? Are you like leading some sort of supervillain force? No, you're not. So what is the point of all that? Nothing. You're making yourself bigger than you seem to be, and we all have that grandioso, I'm larger than life, some of us, right? But in reality, we're just not even a speck of sand in the time of people being here and coming and going, and how many have lived and died. Don't get wrapped up in that shit. Don't self-destruct. Now I'm going to tell you some good self-destruction going on right now. This is one that I'm rooting for. I want to see them destruct. I want to see them destroyed. And most of America does too. That's the Democrat Party that's currently in power in Washington. These are old, feeble people that are speaking for us, and they're not speaking for us. They're speaking for themselves, for their self-interest, and for their greed. They're going to self-destruct because of this. It's a shame. Nobody in America wants us to spend for foreign aid on ridiculous things, or the cutting penises off of primates to make them transgender, to test drugs on them to see if it'll kill them or not. We all remember shrimp on treadmills, that they were still doing this, right? We remember hearing about that waste, but nobody was like, make them stop. Now finally somebody is making them stop. Their gravy train's about over. The ones yelling the loudest, the ones protesting the most, are the ones getting kickbacks and getting paid off of that shit. They're defending their money. They're trying to keep their money coming. There's none of them in their right mind can get on there and say, hey, we want to keep spending money like this. We want to keep wasting taxpayers' money on bullshit. Instead, they try to divert the attention away and say some crazy shit like, they're going to take away Medicaid, they're going to take away Medicare, they're going to take away food stamps. All that is geared toward the people that can't get their own. So the first time they're threatened with, oh, they're going to take my food stamps. Oh, no, they're not. These are small-minded people. These are what they call smooth brain. Like, there's no grooves in the brain at all. It's just smooth. Okay, they're not thinking properly. Nobody's taking away public service that's needed for the poor, for the needy, for the elderly. No. Now, there's someone that is 145 years old. No, there's not. And they're receiving disability. No, they should not. You have an issue with that? Well, I do too, so cancel that shit. These sex changes in other countries, and they keep trying to talk about foreign aid. Fuck foreign aid. Period. American aid. America first. I'm a nationalist now. I'm all about America, and I'm all about America first. As we all should be that live in America. Why do you think all these people are breaking their necks to get here? Because we have so many services set in play to help the poor and needy. But it's become a charity case now for the world. Everyone's flocking here. If these countries they're leaving from were so great, that other people are defending them. Why don't the people here defending them just swap places with those people then, since you care so much? The same with these bleeding heart Democrats that, oh, poor such and such that came across with your kids. Well, then put them up in your house. Pay the $750 for them to become a U.S. citizen. They're not going to do that. Instead, they want the taxpayers, you guys, to pay for it. No, we're not. We're done with that. We're done with it. Not to mention, numbers don't lie, guys. They don't. Look at the spike and increase in drug trafficking, human trafficking, all these things that have it just went through the roof because of an open border policy. Do you not think that any drug lord or cartel, as soon as they know the gate's open, like, man, the gate is open, push them all through, give a bunch of drugs to women and children, and let's sell the women and children and push them over into America? You don't see that? Look at the people that are coming across. Most of them are young men. This is not rocket science, guys. It's real simple to see. Now, self-destruction is what I'm trying to get to here. And the Democrat Party is self-destructing right before our eyes. You see these clowns? You see them. They're a clown show. They're a circus. Just like Trump said, no matter what he does, he could cure everything going on in the world, and they still will not acknowledge him, will not stand up and clap, will not be on the side of righteousness, justice, and truth. The Democrat Party is self-destructing. They may have already blew up at this point, because there's no coming back from this. Do you see the approval ratings? Do you see what America is saying here? Look, we're tired of your fantasy land bullshit. Get the men out of the women's bathrooms. Everybody agrees on that. Who doesn't? And if you don't, chat, tell me why you want to see a man in a woman's bathroom. Tell me why you would accept that in society. You got little children, you got a little girl, you want some grown-ass man in there with your child? I don't think so. Furthermore, what idiot decided we're going to let men compete in women's sports? It's called women's sports. I don't give a shit what. You could put lipstick on a pig and it's still a pig. Okay? These are still men. There was a triathlon or some huge thing like that where the man that competed against these women beat them by 5 hours. 5 hours, crushing women's records. Women don't even, they should boycott sports, honestly. All women should get together and boycott sports. Literally, and say, we're not going to compete no more in sports until you get the fucking men out of sports. Out of women's sports. Like, I really get passionate about this because I like common sense and I like things that are right, not wrong, and that's so wrong. I mean, on so many different levels. Not to mention the demasculation of the males in our society right now. Are you serious? And the mutilating children, the child abuse, sending little children to school dressed up the opposite sex. They can't make those decisions themselves, and the parents are making them for them. That's fucking child abuse. Self-destruction is everywhere. It's so bad they're taking their loved ones with them. Now, back to politics for a moment, because that's my sports. You guys know who Fetterman is? The guy that got shot in the head, went through brain damage, now he's coming back. Now listen, mark my words, they're going to run him for president because he's taking a centrist position. He's trying to come into the center of the aisle. Democrats, I mean, you guys are ruined. There's no hope left. Anyone that's voting Democrat is doing it because they're either an anarchist, a racist, or they're just blind to the facts. That's it. Tribalism at its finest. And there's these people that are even worse than the Democrats, the never Trumpers, the people that I don't care who's running, just as long as it's not Trump. What kind of childish ideology is that? I mean, this is just too much. To want to self-destruct like that in front of the public, to get on camera and say, hey, we defend these programs, but they lie so goddamn bad, these career politicians. Maxine Waters? How is she still there? How? And Pocahontas, Liz Warren, how are these people still there? Are those career positions, are those positions that were lifetime positions? I mean, this is just preposterous. Who is voting for these people? Nobody. Cori Bush? Oh my God, don't even get me started on this ratchet ass thing. She's a hood rat. She's literally slaughtering the English language and in a position of power. Like, children are supposed to look up to her and she's cussing and foul-mouthed and talking shit about America. That's not setting no kind of standard for any children. As a matter of fact, that's setting them up for failure so that they self-destruct. The self-destruction knows no ends, knows no bounds. Like I said, we've all been through this. We've all had our moments of self-destruction where we've just lost our cool and said, you know what, fuck it, or got a bad case of what they call the fuck-its, right? I'm not saying I'm above that. I lose my cool and say fuck it sometimes too. But when you're dealing with other people's money, other people's lives, and you've been put into a position of power, you can't self-destruct because your self-destruction is our destruction. You see this, don't you? So if you used to vote Democrat, or you still do, don't. If you are a woman in sports, please boycott sports. Boycott women's sports until it's truly signed into effect that no man can compete with you. Give them their own sport already. How hard is this? Trans sports, period. Then they can have all the different ones competing. Man, woman, big, small. I mean, you don't hear me crying. You don't see me watching goddamn basketball and sitting there saying there ain't enough fucking white people in basketball. That's another thing, is this race shit. There's only one race, the human race, period. All the rest is culture. And people get so wrapped up in culture, and some cultures are flawed. Some cultures are really, really flawed and teach a self-destruction mindset. I've been in a culture before to where I didn't give a shit and I wanted to be somewhat of an anarchist. When I used to sag my pants real bad, that was not that comfortable, honestly, to have to keep up with that all the time. It was out of, hey, I want to be opposite and I want to show my ass. I want to dress so differently that I piss people off because I'm a controversial person, because I want conflict in my life. I want people to look at my ass as I'm walking around. It's saying I'm not conforming to society. I'm not conforming to wearing a belt and keeping my pants around my waist so I can run and effectively work properly or move around through society so children don't have to see my fucking ass hanging out. Not to mention, how many doo-doo streak stains have you seen these dudes sagging? And the worst is sagging in the front where your dick's hanging out too, with the ass in the back. That just shows, listen, the lower the sag, the lower the intelligence. I truly believe that. The lower the sag, the lower the intelligence. Pull your goddamn pants up already. 2025, motherfuckers don't sag no more. They're wearing skinny jeans, and that ain't even much better. Now they're wearing leotards. Like, I want to wear pants that are stretchy, like women's leotards. No, guys, no. This shit is too much, man. Wear whatever you want, dress however you want, but I look at it as another form of self-destruction. You're trying to self-destruct through your clothing now. Nobody want to see that shit. For real. That's another form of self-destruction, having that anarchist mind frame that I don't give a shit what people think. All right, don't. And then when you get treated that way, you'll know why. Because you don't give a shit what people think. So why should you care what they say? You shouldn't. But they do. But they do. Not to mention, people just want something to bitch about. People want to moan and groan. There are some people born miserable, and they'll be miserable their whole short life, because miserable people don't live that long. And that's the truth. That's a fact. Happy people, they live a lot longer because they have something to fucking live for. They're not miserable. Waking up every day in misery. Can you imagine having to wake up in the morning, get dressed, and in doing so you have to wear some garments that you have to segregate yourself separately from society because you got to dress a certain way, and then to go out the door and put a mask on? Man, this air is amazing, and there's nothing in the air. The people, this is even crazier, self-destruction. They're physically self-destructing through their immune system because they're not building it up. If you kept a mask on, oh, the poor kids. Think about these kids that are growing up with mask parents that put the mask on the child, and now the child's subject to go outside and wear a mask his whole life until he gets older. And then let's say he takes the mask off. Now his immune system's so weak, any little cold or disease is going to cripple him. Take the mask off. If your grill's fucked up, so be it. Wear the mask for the grill. Even, I wish they'd make masks that said, or just have like teeth on the mask so you know, like, oh, they just got a fucked up grill. They want to hide it behind the mask. So be it. But don't go out here thinking you're saving yourself or the rest of the world by wearing a mask. What are you, are you some sort of scientist studying Ebola or something and you're going into a laboratory? Are even nurses and doctors? You know why a doctor or a surgeon wears a mask when he's operating on the patient? So that he does not breathe the germs off into the exposed open body. Do you hear what I'm saying? So the doctor doesn't breathe out onto the body. That's why a doctor wears a mask. Now, hopefully you got grooves there if you're watching. Hopefully it's not smooth, because if it's smooth, you done changed this anyways a long time ago. You didn't even make it to this point of the video. But if you put a mask on and you go outside, you're not saving the world because of your germs. Are you afraid of ingesting other germs? I mean, man. Think about humans and how long we've been here. 650,000 years. The things that we have went through. From the climate to wars to genocides to, the Industrial Revolution to all these things, just from people used to go out and give birth in the woods. People, the way that society is so catered to, just the pandering to everyone, all this shit has got to stop. We are the weakest of all of us, because 200 years ago, hell, 1,000 years ago, people were not this weak. Nobody was running around with a mask on, and there was way more germs and way more disease back then, way more in the past, and they weren't running around with masks on. That's a form of self-destruction, because as long as you keep that mask on, you're not building no immunity to anything. So let's say you have a child and you keep putting that mask on that child. When that child gets older and grows up and takes the mask off, he has no immunity to anything. You just made your child susceptible. Oh, here we go. Let's get another drink of coffee. The self-destruction knows no bounds. Democrats are self-destructing. We all self-destruct one way or another. But to let people that are in positions of authority and power to lie to our faces, to bold-faced lie to us and say that all this money that they found it's a waste, wasn't a waste. That we really do need to turn mice transgender. Then they tried to go back and said they didn't do that, and then all the facts came out. Yeah, they really did. They're cutting fucking dicks off of primates right now. They're cutting dicks off primates and giving them date rape drugs to find out the effects. Are you fucking serious? And giving apes AIDS that can't even get AIDS. How do they even do that? Where is PETA at? Where the fuck is PETA at? Where are these bleeding heart Democrats that are all about the world and the environment, but you're gonna allow this shit to happen? Another thing, equity, inclusion, and all these other words that are key words to let you know self-destruction at its finest. If you ever hire somebody or put somebody in a position of power based purely off of their race, off of their ethnicity or otherwise, then you're flawed in your thinking completely, because you want someone that has earned it, that has the brains to do it, all those things. Some people are smarter than others, and it has nothing to do with this. Nothing at all to do with that. Once again, there's only one race, the human race. That's it. Now, there's cultures within the human race, and some cultures are so flawed and so backwards. I mean, I used to belong to a culture that was so ass backwards. I had no idea what I was doing. I was running around with the most foul language. I was being loud on purpose in places I shouldn't. I was confrontational. I used to wear my pants so my ass hangs out in the back, and people had to see that when I walked around with a belt on, with a nice belt on. No, now I wear my clothes properly. I use good English. I approach people properly with a greeting to them to see how they are, to gauge the interaction there immediately. I'm done self-destructing. But you know what? I'm happy to see the Democrat Party self-destruct, because we need them up through. They are ruining society. Ruining it. I mean, and they're trying their hardest. They're fighting tooth and nail right now to keep that money. Now, off topic a little bit, but I am here currently at the BYU campus, Brigham Young University, and I'm going to let you know how delusional society is too. I have come to a point in my life through research and through doing endless hours of study. I mean, I have immersed myself in the cosmos and where we come from, how we are, from the planet's evolution, from nothing to something, to the billions of years, and the things that have been here before us, and things are going to be here when we're gone. And so, in doing all that research, what I've come to find out is, and I'm sorry guys, there's no God. There's no magical, mystical being pulling strings. What God would let someone do the horrible things that happen to children if they can truly step in and intervene in anyone's life? The contradictions are so bad, it's unreal. I wouldn't even want to worship a God that all you got to do is just ask for forgiveness no matter what you did, and you're forgiven. I would never want to worship a weak God like that, because if there was a God, for one, and you kidnapped a busload of nuns, impregnated them all, tortured them the whole time, cut babies out of the womb alive, microwave them, eat them, and then burn all the bodies, and guess what? Now you found Jesus and you're asking for forgiveness and you can go to heaven? Fuck no, you can't go to heaven. If there is one, you're going to burn in hell for the rest of your life. What idiot came up with this idea? Let's make it so the people can just go ahead and just sin till the end, and all they got to do is just ask for forgiveness at the end. It doesn't matter what they... You think Hitler said, hey, you know what? I repent, Jesus, and really meant it in his heart, and oh, he got to go to heaven. How naive are people? Once again, Brigham Young University. This guy, Joseph Scott or whatever his name is, says he dug in the side of a hill in Utah, found gold plates with Egyptian writing on it, and only he could read it through a seeing stone. How naive can you be? First off, I honestly see the humans and the way the brain works. It's unreal how stupid people truly are and how naive people are. Honestly, how naive. I love religion. I love the idea of keeping people together and to have a goal to help others. Love it. But then there's another side that causes tribalism, where my religion's right and your religion's wrong. Look at in the Middle East right now. We've got a war going on over there, and it's not over land. None of the Arab states over there are trying to kill the Jews because the Jews are just living there. No, it's because they worship the opposite God. They're over there fighting over gods that don't even exist and killing each other and have been for over 1,000 fucking years. These are people that throw rocks at tanks. I mean, the world honestly is filled with really naive, stupid people. I don't know if it's education, that maybe they're just not taught properly. For instance, in school, when I was learning and going through school, some of my favorite subjects were history and science, things like that. And I noticed in the South, when I was going to grade school down there, the schooling, I was in a really small rural area in Georgia, and there was all different ethnicities around me, all different, as you would say, races. But once again, there's only one race, but none of us looked at, I didn't even know. I had Mexican, black friends, all these different friends, and we all mingled with each other. And there was no problem at all, none. And what they were teaching in school was pretty sound, pretty facts. I mean, love of your country, love America, this is how we're founded, this, all these things was good. I went to the North and started going to some democratically ran public school system, and fuck public school. They do need to do away with this for sure and give the power back to the states. First thing I started learning about over and over and over was slavery and the atrocities that the Caucasian and the white man did to the world. Do you know that one of the minorities on the planet are Caucasians? I bet you didn't even know that. So how in the fuck did the minority, one of the smaller groups of people, dominate and take over the world? It's just a little sliver of time, because in actuality the world has been ruled by others way more than Caucasians. But once again, we're all just humans. That's the problem, is they want to demonize people. They want to find a villain. I got to get into this real quick because it's so important. World war going on right now. Now, I don't mean like World War III, but it could get to that. And that's a lot of fear-mongering. Did you know that Russia tried to enter into the UN, that they tried to be a part of NATO? Why in the fuck did they deny Russia from being a part of NATO? Why? What's the point of NATO? They need a boogeyman. Their boogeyman is Putin. Their boogeyman is Russia. Russia ain't fucking with nobody. Russia is actually well maintained. They have a great society, a great structure. There's not junkies lined up down the street in tent cities. There's not all this bullshit that we have in America that is truly fucking bullshit. There is a mental health crisis in America like never seen on this planet, I bet, ever, in the history of anything living on this planet. They affirm people's mental health now. They don't send people to psychotherapists. They send them to psychiatrists, which ain't nothing but a legal drug dealer, okay? You can go in, and I've tested this, and I've done it right here on this camera for you. I had a whole series and segment about that I need to bring back out, to where I went into Guidestone and I went into some of these other programs, and they gave me the drugs I asked for, and they affirmed my mental health. They did not help me. And when I asked for a psychotherapist, they said, good luck with that. There's only 3 of them or some shit like that in the area. And they're keeping people from getting true help. They want you to be dumb. They want you to be stupid. And they want you to fight with each other. That's how they keep you conquered, is by dividing you. We all know this. And yet still, it's so ingrained in us to have tribalism and to separate ourselves. It bleeds over into everyday activities. You don't even realize. Throw your favorite sports team jersey on. You're in tribalism right there. I'm a Bears fan. You know, and I say, screw all other teams but the Bears. That's me, tribalism within sports. It's a form of self-destruction on a larger scale when it comes to humanity. Humanity needs to come together as one. They need to do away with the countries fighting with each other like this and killing their own people. First off, listen, those people in Ukraine, Putin does not want to kill them, or they would have already won this war. You know that, right? You do understand Shiznik and like those Mach 5 missiles that can touch anything anywhere. You don't think that he couldn't have just unleashed that on their major city populations and just decimated the whole area and just walked in? He don't want to kill his own people. Those are his people. They speak a form of Russian and Russian. They come from the same culture. This puppet Zelensky, this dictator that's rounding up people, his own people, contrition, that means that they're going and forcing people to fight. His own people don't even want to fight no more. They have video of them rounding up a young man with Down syndrome and putting him on the front line. And you think that's acceptable? Well, I don't. And Democrats do. Democrats think that they should just keep fighting that war. Very sad, man. Very sad. I'm at a point in my life now. I agree, please. And if you can, share this, because that's the point. I'm trying to build this so that others can wake up, because that's the whole point of Cup of Joe with Poe, is to inform people, to let them know, look, bro, we're all humans here. Like, this body that we're in will die one day. So what is the point of all this feuding and fighting and all this conflict when we should just enjoy this shit, enjoy Earth, start modernizing everything? You know what? I used to be anti, like when you go into a grocery store and you have the U-scan, or when you go into McDonald's and you have the kiosk. If there was a way where technology could do everything for us to where we don't have to anymore, there would be no more need for currency, and everything could just be provided for us, and we could just live our lives peacefully on this planet. Literally. I mean, that sounds like a utopia. It sounds like something in the future. If you watch things where they were giving us ideas from Star Trek, I mean, beam me up, but just that right there, they did not have that technology of two-way radio type shit like that back then. Cell phones and all that. Have you ever read Fahrenheit 9/11? The actual book, I'm not talking about that piece of shit Michael Moore, I'm talking about another book completely. Well, in that book, they talk about things that pretty much are going on now. From earbuds, he was talking about the voices in the little device you put in your ear, didn't know what it was, earbuds. He was talking about TV screens the size of a wall. They had black and white TV back then, you know, full color, full wall. He was talking about all this stuff, and look, now it's here. So if they keep dreaming up all this crazy shit that they keep coming up with, eventually it's all going to come true if we allow it. We cannot allow them to take and continue to demasculate our young men, to demonize anyone because of the pigment of their skin or how much money they have. I am the complete opposite. I actually like rich people. I love rich people. I mean, I love rich people. You know why? The richer they are, the less they care about how much they spend, and they will spend, and they will give, and they will help, and they build business. It's not their fault I'm broke. It's not their fault that I'm poor. It's not nobody's fault but my own. I can't, no matter what, and I've tried, and I've actually rationalized this, that because I am, when I was poor and in an urban area as a poor white person, in an area where the poorest was me, the people around me, and when I went to junior high, the area I lived in, all these kids, their parents worked at Jeep, Libby Glass, career jobs. Their grandparents worked there, right? They had brand new clothes, brand new Jordans. I mean, hell, they could have went to college. They could have did something with their life. Instead, they let society trick them into thinking they should go be drug dealers, and they should go and just drink their fucking life away every day and not conform to society. I can't tell you how many of my brothers have died from alcohol poisoning, literally. And the others that are still there are still doing it and still drinking and locked in that mind frame. They are literally locked into a way of thinking that they can't see what they're doing. Literally, it's like they're wearing blinders, and all they see is what they want. Their self needs and wants. That's all I see. I want this, so I'm getting this, and that's it. Screw the consequences, screw who I hurt, screw all that shit. I just want this, and I'm going to get it. A lot of people think like that. Along the way, you might really mess your own life up and someone else's life up. Approach life as it should be approached. with compassion, with love, with empathy. There's nothing wrong with seeing someone down and saying, hey, can I help you? Help them up. But don't help those that won't help themselves, because they have already blown up. Their self-destruction has reached its max. I've been there. I did 8 years in prison. I watched my oldest son come to prison and spend time with me there. These are very humbling things that will make you reassess your life and the decisions you make in your life. But don't get things twisted. This is a cold, merciless world filled with evil people, filled with naive people, filled with stupid people. Don't go through roadblocks, go around them. Go under them, go over them. Whatever it may take, but don't try to just smash through that wall. There's no point in it. Because most of the time the wall is made of metal and you'll never get through it. Listen, you got one shot at this. It's your life, and you live it how you want to. But while you're taking that ride, remember the responsibility as a human, that there's other humans around you, and what they see reflects on them, especially young people. There's an uprise right now of conservative young men that are masculine and listen to people like Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, Joe Rogan. The list goes on. People that support President Trump and his agenda. Like me. I'm not a young man anymore, but I support these things, and I'm poor. I'm homeless. I'm one of the people that should have a voice or a format. I'm someone that should be able to come across as real as it gets, because I'm in a position right now where I'm receiving help, not just from you guys, but also from the government. But I truly need it. I'm not on drugs. I'm not an alcoholic. I am not the quote-unquote POS that people may try to paint me to be. They talk about, I don't send my son right now to school. Well, do you know what they're teaching in school? Nothing. They're allowing children to take cell phones in school. They're allowing children to wear makeup in school. I mean, these are things that you would think, like, what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is when you allow people to commit child abuse and defend it, such as little Jimmy that's 9 years old gets dressed up like Jessica now. That is child abuse, period. The child cannot make his mind up whether he wants to dress up like a girl or not, but his parents are going to push him in that position. That's a form of child abuse. Truly. That's why I'm actually opposed to same-sex adoption. And I am at the point in my life where the truth shall set you free. If you cannot speak truth, if you cannot speak things that are factual, science, 2 + 2 is always going to be 4. Always. Okay? Just simple math, 2 + 2 is always going to be 4. But you leave it to Democrats and they'll tell you 2 + 2 is going to equal 3. Just throw a dress on it and make it gay. I mean, these people are out of their minds. They're out of their absolute mind. They are so naive and so wrapped up in their ideologies that they're really hurting America as a whole. They've siphoned so many trillions of dollars from us over the course of how many ever years with these programs that they're getting money back in their pockets. Who keeps electing these people? I'm here in Hawaii. Hawaii is predominantly Democrat, but they're not. Like the actual citizens, the people that live here and operate on a daily basis, they don't pay attention to politics like that. They don't. So they keep voting somewhat Democrat here. Now, it's had a big overturn because I think they're starting to open their eyes up and see what's going on here. This state right here, when it comes to bureaucracy, is the worst I've ever seen in my life. This is the most poorly managed state I've ever seen, and it's one of the richest. They could unleash all kinds of wealth to the people of the state. Not Hawaiian people either. I'm so sick of this ideology behind race. Well, my people, my people. Listen, your people's the human race. That's your people. We all come from the same planet. You think aliens would show up to Earth and they'd be like, hey, look at this one. They'd be like, that's the human race, and different parts of the world have different looking people. Just like the animals, birds, and everything else, because humans are nothing but animals anyways to begin with. That's all we are. We just have forethought. We have imagination. We have all this extra shit in our brain that they want to shrink to through putting chemicals in our water to make you stupid, literally. Like chemicals that have nothing to do with cleaning the water. And people don't even know this, and this is real. This is facts. I got to wrap this up because my battery's getting a little low. We hit that 40-minute mark I was trying to achieve here. I get so wrapped up in this, I lose track of time. And I greatly appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Please share this, and we're going to pick back up our regular scheduled programming, Star Nation Network. When one shines bright, we all shine bright. Come shine with the nation. There's always room, too. I'm looking for others that want me to push their format or their product or whatnot. And speaking of product, if you're at home right now and you're looking for a good THC product, right? You want something delivered to your door that you know your boy Poe has tested firsthand, and he can tell you, amazing. Use the promo code Cup of Joe with Poe and get 15% off. Inhale more. Hit it up. Hit your little microphone on the phone. Inhale More official website. It's gonna pop up. You show a little triangle deal on there with the colors. Tap on that bad boy. Find your product. I'm a flower guy. They got everything you can imagine on there. Find your product. When you put in the promo code, Cup of Joe with Poe, 15% off just like that. And then in a few days, right there in the mail, product. You ain't even got to go to no stupid ass dispensary and stand around and put up with all the people in there and the lines and all that shit. Man, the hell with that. Go live your life and your day and just have it dropped off in your mailbox. It's a no-brainer. And nobody knows your business. It's you and you first. Don't lose sight of that. There's only one you. There's only one you. So enjoy your life while you got it, and I'm going to enjoy mine. This has been Cup of Joe with Poe, and I hope you tune in tomorrow. We have a very special segment tomorrow. I'm really looking forward to it. Putting a lot in tomorrow's episode. May even go on longer than this. So enjoy the rest of your day, and please be enlightened. Learn, educate, treat others how you truly want yourself to be treated. But if you're miserable and you hate your life and you hate society and all that, go be a hermit. If you hate the country you live in, find the country you want to go live in and go live in that country. That's what this bears down to. And may the Democrats burn in hell. Love.